Always kind of a fun question. I'm not sure how much fun my answer will be, but I do get that question occasionally, and I don't really have a lot of interest in it because I'm not a power seeker. I never have been. I said on a video a long time ago, in a Gen X video. It's actually pinned to my account, and where I pointed out that I understand somebody doing the job of something in politics and things like that. I totally get people wanting to do it, but there was that guy that was just recently interviewed. I don't know his name. I just happened to see the interview, and where he's talking about there's two reasons that you run, for example, for president. Either you're a power junkie and you're just after money, fame, notoriety, etc., or you're doing it to be truly benevolent and you're trying to help people, right? And that's the only two reasons you would do it. And the sad thing is, this is again just totally my take on modern politics. I think that the electorate, the people, unfortunately, have been so abused to such a degree now that if somebody actually did show up on the scene and they genuinely just said, hey, I'm just here to help you guys get your country back so that you can actually live your normal lives, so that your currency isn't destroyed, so that your taxes can be, in a lot of cases, done away with, because there's a lot of, you have to have some measure of taxes, but nowhere near, not even close to what people are paying now. I think if someone truly, genuinely, and honestly was speaking from that sort of benevolent perspective, I think that they would be hated beyond the pale. Because what I think is that so many Americans have been so abused. They have battered voter syndrome, right? I don't think they know how to even look for someone who gives a shit about the American people. I know that there's the Trump people that are like, no, Trump is all about America first. America first is not the same as Americans first. You understand? And I've been very clear about this. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that I've been very clear about this. Which is, by the way, if you do follow me on Twitter, it's Financial Fizz, because it doesn't. I can't put the whole thing. Financial Fizz, it's just Financial Fizz, PHYS, and at Financial. Anyway. Yeah, America first is not the same thing as Americans first. And if you're putting Americans first, well, that means you're putting Americans above all the big corporations. You're putting Americans above all of the big government programs. You're putting the American people above, the people of every other fucking country out there that, for whatever reason, Americans have to keep supporting. It's never been explained to me properly. But, and you're just hurting those countries, by the way. Just for the record, totally kind of a side note here. You're just hurting other countries if you constantly keep bailing them out. They will never learn to do anything on their own, right? You're really hurting those people. Foreign aid is very destructive. It's taking money from poor people in a rich country and then giving it to rich people in a poor country. That's all you're doing, right? You're just propping up all these dictators and all these complete assholes that a normal person would find thoroughly detestable. You would not want to be around in any of these fucking people, right? Consider how many politicians in the U.S. would you trust to water your plants in your house if you were away? Yeah, this is where we've gotten to, right? And I think that the majority of people out there, unfortunately, have been so abused that if they actually did run into someone who went out there and says, listen, I actually give a shit about the American people. I don't give a flying fuck about all this other stuff. If these big companies fail, they fail, right? Well, but what replaces them? And there's this smoke and mirrors trick that most modern politicians do, where they say, oh, well, my God, if we don't lower the corporate tax rate, or if we don't do this or don't do that, and just kowtow and step and fetch for all the fucking mega corporations, then they're going to just fire everybody and all the jobs are going to go away. Well, first of all, they're going to fire everybody and replace them with a bunch of fucking illegals anyway. Or, excuse me, Trump's legals now, because Trump has come out and said, well, no, he's flipped on that. Now he doesn't want to do all the mass deportations. He wants to deport only the so-called bad guys, whatever the fuck that means. And everybody else is going to be here to be cheap slave fucking labor to prop up all these fucking companies. rather than these companies actually hiring Americans and then having to pay real fucking wages so that people, that Americans can function in the country in which they've been told this is their country, right? And this is like negotiation 101, dude. This is basic shit. This is common sense. I will take, and I've said this for a long time, I will take somebody with common sense over high IQ any fucking day, dude. Fucking any day. Okay? And yeah, that's just it. So, no, I think that if someone actually truly did all this and actually said all this kind of stuff, it would be intriguing to about 20% of the country. You know, the same 20% that's pretty much been propping all of this up all along. That same 20% of people that still go to these jobs, for example, that they know they're understaffed. You know you're understaffed. And you know what I'm talking about. Okay, if you guys have been doing this for all, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. You who go to your job and you keep going to your boss saying, dude, we need like 10 more fucking guys because this ain't working. And they keep saying, oh, I know, we're looking for people. We can't find anybody. No, they can find people. They just don't want to pay for those people, right? So they're going to keep juicing you, the 20%. I'm serious. Because it's 80-20 rule, right? It's 20% always doing 80% of the work. They're going to keep juicing you guys until they can replace you with a bunch of legals. You know, the Trump legals or the Camilla illegals, whatever the fuck. I mean, like, who gives a shit, dude? It's just, I mean, that's exactly what it is. And this idea about how, and I love these guys who comment like, oh, you're preaching great replacement theory. Dude, it's not a theory. You can watch this. This is happening like in real time right in fucking front of you. It's just how it is, okay? Their countries don't allow this kind of stuff. Particularly South and Latin American countries, they don't allow people to do this kind of stuff. If I move to another to a country, let's say I go to Costa Rica, for example. I would never do it, but let's say I move to Costa Rica. I'm not allowed to work in my business there. I have to hire their people. They're very clear about that. You can look all this shit up, by the way. You can look this shit up. Everything I'm telling you is true. Okay? You're required to hire their people. See what I mean? It's like they kind of understand this idea. Americans, for whatever reason, have just not got this through their head. And by the way, this is not a black or white thing. This is like, dude, this is an American thing. There's lots of Americans of all colors out there that are getting just horse fucked by this kind of stuff. Unfortunately, I mean, this is really what's happening. And I really think that if a guy actually did come out and say this, and it wasn't controlled by everybody's favorite ethno-state, and just said, listen, no, I'm here about the American people. I don't care what religion you are. I don't give a flying fuck about that. Of all things that I would care about, that would be the thing I would care about the least. Okay? I don't care what color you are. That doesn't matter either. I care. Are you an American? Are you here to be a part of the American program? And I think that if someone actually talks like that, it would send people into shock. They wouldn't know what to make of that. And I think they would go running immediately back to the ex-boyfriend, the abusive ex-boyfriend, which is your Republicans and Democrats, because everybody's part of the largest, every year we get part of the largest fucking donkey show and elephant show that there is, and, this is what happens. And, the American people just get spit roasted by both these fucking parties every single year. Every election season, we know the history on it. As soon as with Ross Perot, got basically, handed his hat and shoved out, they immediately took away the Republican and Democrat Party, took away the debates from the illegal women voters. And they did that because they didn't want to have any more third-party people going in there saying, bringing up real issues. They only want to bring up issues that they can control. That's why your politicians never bring up any real fucking issues. Anyone who brings that shit up, dude, they don't have a prayer. They just don't. And there's no money to support it either, because the money goes away very quickly. And then if you try to run a campaign and then they take away your bank account and say, oh, well, we think that you're involved in this, or if you deposit any cash, oh, that had drugs on it. I'm not kidding. This is the kind of shit that they do. Right? So it would require a Herculean effort of the American people to actually truly want someone like that. And they would have to be willing to overcome, battered voter syndrome. And I don't think we've hit bottom yet.